All right, we are on problem C, and this is about chili and beans. So before we even start this, I have a video to introduce the beans. So go ahead and watch and enjoy. All right, so that's just to get things rolling. All right, what's going to happen is I'm going to read this through, and then you're going to have a minute timed to try something for part A. All right, so this person, Sue Lee, uses a half pound of beans to make one batch of chili. Part A, write and simplify a complex fraction. To represent the number of batches of chili Sue Lee can make if she has 2 pounds of beans, show your work. Before I give you that minute, I do want to tell you that a complex fraction, it's a fraction in which the numerator, the denominator, or both also contain fractions. So that's what a complex fraction is. So an example could be like 3/4 over 1/2. Or, because now both of them are fractions. Or I could have 3 over 1/3. So it's a fraction in which the numerator, denominator, or so here, the denominator is a fraction. Here, both are fractions. Those are both examples of complex fractions. So if we go back up, in part A, you are writing and simplifying a complex fraction to represent the number of batches of chili Sue Lee can make if she has 2 pounds of beans, knowing that Sue Lee uses a half pound of beans to make one batch of chili. So you have 1 minute right now. I'm timing it. Try to figure out something. If you have to, guess, draw a picture, do something for 1 minute. Go. Okay, that's been 1 minute. Hopefully you wrote down something in that amount of time. So now I'm going to start in. So I am going to show you some things here. So let's say, so I'm going to give you an idea. Okay, she said, here's some beans. How many beans does she have to use for that one batch of chili? Well, it had said right here she uses half pound. A half pound for one batch of chili. Then it said make a complex fraction. So I'm going to make a fraction where one of these or both are fractions within the fraction to represent the number of batches of chili Suli can make if she has 2 pounds of beans. So now she doesn't have the half pound, she has 2 pounds of beans. And we want to know how many batches that would be. Well, we know it's more than one batch. So how can we represent this using a complex fraction? So I could say I have 2 pounds of beans. 2 pounds of beans. So I'm going to write this out. 2 pounds of beans. And I'm going to say, okay, out of these beans, if I break that up, divide that up into groups of half pounds, I would then know how many total batches I could make. So if I take that 2 total that Suli has and I break it up into groups of halves, I divide it up into groups of halves, I would know how many total batches I have. So there is my complex fraction. And then it said to go ahead and simplify it. So if I go ahead and simplify it, so now I have 2 divided by 1/2. And it's what I just said. 2 fraction bar is division by the fraction 1/2. So I'm going to have 2 divided by 1/2. And we've done these problems in class. So if I have division happening with fractions, I'm going to do what? Keep, change, flip. So I can keep the 2 the same, although I should probably write that as a fraction. So technically speaking here, this is the same thing as 2 over 1 divided by 1 over 2. I'm going to keep this one the same. I'm going to change that to multiplication, and I'm going to flip this. So I have 2 over 1 times, and then I flip the 1 over 2 to 2 over 1. So I end up with, if I multiply across, 4 over 1, which equals 4. So she can make 4 batches of chili with 2 pounds of beans. All right, now, next up, you guys are going to take a minute. I'm going to time it. And I want you to try problem B. So go ahead. I'm going to read it out, and then you have 1 minute. Part B. If she uses 1 3/4 pounds of ground beef to make 1 batch of chili, how many pounds of beef does she need to make the number of batches of chili called for in part A? So one more time. If she uses 1 3/4 pounds of ground beef to make 1 batch of chili, how many pounds of ground beef does she need to make the number of batches of chili called for in part A? You have 1 minute. Go. Try something. Go, 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 go. Okay, I'm going to start it. Okay, we have this information given to us. 1 3/4 pounds of ground beef to make 1 batch of chili. So I'm going to use this info. Here's my new picture. I have 1 and what was it again? 1 3/4 pounds of ground beef right here, which makes how many batches of chili? It said that makes 1 batch of chili. That makes 1 batch. Okay. How many batches? Because it said we need to make the same amount of batches as part A. Well, in part A, we figured out we could make 4 batches of chili. So I'm going to figure out 4 batches of chili is how many pounds of ground beef. So I know it should be more than 1 3/4 pounds because that only makes 1 batch. So how did I get from 1 batch to 4 batches? What do? Well, I multiply 1 by 4. So what am I going to need to do with 1 3/4? I'm either going to need to add it 4 times, go 1 3/4 plus 1 3/4 plus 1 3/4 plus 1 3/4, or I could just take 1 3/4 times what number? 4. So to finish this off, 1 3/4 times 4. Well, if I'm working with any type of fraction, I need to make them single when I'm multiplying or dividing, even when I'm adding and subtracting. So here I make it improper. I'm at 7/4. The 4 will be 4/1. Should I keep change flip? No, because this is not division. So I just multiply across. And I'm at 28/4. That's improper. So if I divide 28 divided by 4, it's a whole number. It goes in perfectly. And I end up with 7. So I will need 7 pounds of ground beef to make 4 batches of chili. For who? For Miss Suley. Thanks for working with me.